Hi there, I'm Ali. I'm your host for today. Welcome back to this week's episode of Kadazan Media Zone. I'll be taking you to the mysterious Borneo forest. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, we are here at the Borneo forest. I'm with Valerie.
Hi.
So, what is that smell? Smells like...
Don't say that.
Why not?
Why? Why? The Borneo forest is known as one of the most mysterious places on earth, known to be home to many spirits. That's why there's so many rules you must follow when in the forest. Very importantly, you mustn't question what you hear, smell or see. If you sense something strange, just ignore it. Kadazans believe that if you don't ignore, spirits will start to follow you. Secondly, even if you're super tired or angry, you must never swear in the forest. Your negative attitude might be a magnet for negative energy and bad luck.
Ayya, all the superstitions.
You must not laugh or mock anything in here either. I know a fellow from Kuala Penyu who laughed at an ugly old tree and then he got lost in a jungle and almost died of dehydration. According to him, he followed his friend in front of him, but his friend didn't talk or respond to him. Actually, it was the spirit that disguised as his friend and made him lose his way in the woods.
Okay, sorry. Is there anything else?
You mustn't bring meat into the forest. Some Kadazans believe that talking about food in the forest is a taboo. And Ali, what are you doing?
I want to go to the toilet.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that if someone wants to pee, they must always say excuse me first, and peeing in streams and big boulders and on big trees is a big no-no.
Oh, you mean a stream like that?
Yes, a stream like that. Please do not pee in it.
Okay. Should we?
Let's just go before you do muscle, okay? Let's get out of here.
I clearly don't know much about Kadazan taboos, so Valerie hit me up if someone is capable of explaining it. So Farah, can you explain more about the Kadazan taboo?
Yeah, Ali, you don't have to feel bad about not knowing our cultural taboos. That's because it can be really overwhelming and there's a lot of it.
Ah, I see.
Well, I have a Kadazan sister-in-law who just gave birth recently and she has so many rules to follow. For starters, when a woman is pregnant, they are not allowed to wander outside to avoid the child being born with skin diseases or running away from home. Also, a pregnant woman must never ridicule an animal or handicapped person. Otherwise, the child might be born with those traits. Once the baby is born, a mother mustn't eat buffalo meat, she cannot wash her hair for a month, and she cannot cut her fingernails.
Wow, that's a lot of things to remember.
But that's not all. Once an engagement has been made, calling it off is seen as a major wrongdoing in the Kadazan culture. The person who calls it off will have to pay all or half the amount discussed by the opposing party. Also, a newlywed bride must never bathe because it's seen as washing away all the good luck that visitors have brought onto them. And a newlywed is also not allowed to wander outside or even set foot on soil on their first night, or else the children born to the couple would be ill with skin diseases.
Wow, that's really much they can't do. But on the other side, what other things that the Kadazans can do?
You mean the norms?
Exactly.
Well, before the bride and groom are allowed to step into the house, the host family must sing the song Silakohan Sinding, Selokahan Sining, to welcome the new bride. Also, the couple's engagement date is fixed based on a mutual agreement made by both the men and women's families. It's also usually fixed on an odd number date, so you can't fix it on the 2nd or the 4th and so on.
What was the interview about?
It's not that social norms.
Did you tell them about how the Kadazan people have a very special way of greeting each other? So what we do is that it's impolite to walk up to the person upright, remember? So what we do is that we will walk up to them with knees slightly bent and your arms stiff at your sides so that your clothes don't touch each other, and both palms together between your knees. This is the proper way that the Kadazans greet each other. Oh, and it's also common practice to announce your presence whenever you're in the presence of somebody or going near their house. Because for Kadazans, this came from the background that if you don't do this, people might mistake you for an enemy and spear you to death. Maybe this was because our ancestors were headhunters, so making yourself known is very important.
Hey, stop making it sound so scary.
Voila, we're not that scary. I mean, like, if you're not an enemy, then everything's just fine. We Kadazans, we're very hospitable people. Friends and family are always welcome in our houses. And if a visitor comes over, we always offer them betel nuts, cigarettes, tobacco, just to make them feel at home. We even offer them on a regular basis to stay the night, even though that wasn't their intention.
I see you guys talking about social norms.
This is Ali.
Hi, Ali.
Hi.
So, the guy who interviewed you?
Yep.
So I think I heard about your conversation. It's true that some people, the male usually, when he always visit a house owner which has a daughter in it, it means that he is interested in marrying their daughter. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why he always comes to the house to see my sister.
I see.
Yeah, but we never got any alone time. I mean, whenever I was at your house, we will always supervise. It's in your culture. Anyone who's dating will always be supervised by the parents or any older siblings.
I learned so much today. You guys learn this in Kadazan school or something?
Oh, education among the Kadazans? I know just the right person. If you want to know more, this way. Hi miss, remember me?
Hi Brian, long time no see. How have you been? You're so grown up already. What are you doing here?
Hey miss, I have a few questions about Kadazan education. I was hoping you could help me with that.
Of course, I can tell you more about the Kadazan education. So it all started with a British chartered company that came to Sabah in the 1880s. Through and working with the North Borneo company, they made arrangements to enhance the formal education in North Borneo for the younger generation. But despite many of their efforts, they didn't make much of an impact. The reason being is that they were seen as being differential and biased towards the children of the hitmen in the village and wasn't inclusive of all the children in North Borneo. As a result, the secondary school education sector in Sabah was left to the influence of missionary schools, usually ran by the Roman Catholic Church or the Anglican Church.
Oh, okay. Could you give us some examples of these missionary schools?
Sure. So the four most famous mission schools in Sabah is firstly the La Salle Secondary School. Secondly, it is the St. Francis Convent School of Jesselton. And then there is, of course, the St. Michael Secondary School in Penampang. And lastly, there is a St. Mary's Secondary School also in Penampang.
So, isn't St. Mary's where you studied?
It sure was. I was very lucky to be able to have gone to one of these schools, as in the olden days, the older generation didn't see education as something that was important, especially among the natives. However, in today's age, they definitely do see it as an important factor.
Hey, Andrea, how's the papers coming along? Hey, Brian, what are you doing here?
Hi Principal, yeah, it's been a long time. I was just here asking Jacob and Andrea about Kadazan education and stuff. Is there anything you can tell us?
Well, Brian, most of our cultural norms and practices are transmitted orally among families, but sadly not officially in schools. Like most indigenous groups, the Kadazan did not possess a written language until the introduction of formal education till the 18th century. Therefore, oral tradition have always been an important medium for Kadazan to pass down their cultural practices from generation to generation.
Whoa, wait. So you're telling me that Kadazan schools do not teach Kadazan ethnic related subjects?
Well, we do teach Kadazan language. Like they always say, when you learn a new language, it is not just learning about the correct pronunciation, grammar, and punctuation, but it's also about opening your mind to the people that uses the language. Teaching the kids their language also give them the opportunity to communicate with the older members in their family that will help them teach the tradition that is passed from generation to generation.
But Mel, isn't there like an argument now that Bindu Liwan, which is the language being taught in Kadazan schools, not actually the original Kadazan language?
Well, yes, the Kadazan Society Sabah is saying that Bundu Diwan is a mixture of Kadazan and Dusun dialects.
So what's the difference between both?
Andrea, would you like to answer that?
Sure. Okay, so the Kadazan and the Dusun language is actually very similar as both of the tribes come under the same family. However, there are some differences between their spelling and pronunciation. Now, for example, the Dusuns call home walai, but the Kadazans call it hunim. And a lot of their words actually differ just in spelling. For example, the number 2 in Dusun is called duo, whereas in Kadazan language it is called duvo. And the number 9 in Dusun language is called sian, but in Kadazan language it is called sisma.
Okay, I see. Well, thanks guys. I really appreciate your help. Oh, I really gotta go. Sorry, but thanks so much for the information. Bye!
So that guy Brian just snatched away my camera just now. Thank God I got it back. So how was it? How's the episode for this week? Thanks for tuning in for this week episode of Kadazan Mizda Yazun. Hope to see you next week. Bye!